Welcome to Hell in a Cell 2021. Now, you're going to expect me to shit all over this pay-per-view. And it would be easy to because I don't like the product right now. But I won't. I'm going to give a fair and honest opinion of Hell in a Cell 2021. And I'll say this. Were the matches good? Many of them were. Did I care about the characters in many of these matches? No. Did it have a good ending to the show? Yes and no. That's how it's going to be. Here, let's get to it. I didn't see the kickoff show, so I don't know what happened. But let's go to Bianca Belair versus Bayley in Hell in a Cell for the SmackDown Women's title. Now, for me personally, when I was watching this, and when it ended, I felt it was too short. Now, by the time it ended, it was around, in my time zone is 8:32. And it started, I think, about, 8:10, 8:12. So it felt short, guys. It doesn't mean it was a bad match. I actually did enjoy it. Bayley's character, the way she is a great character. Admittedly, she's becoming more chicken shit than anything else. But Bayley, well, let's be honest, she is becoming chicken shit. And I don't exactly like that. But it doesn't mean she can't back it up when it's necessary. Then you got Bianca Belair. And the angle they're going with Bianca, I don't like. Really, I don't like it. Of course, I haven't really seen a lot of what's been her work right now. But for what I have seen, I think they've gone in the wrong direction of how, as a face, she's acting. She should be a Kurt Angle face, where she has the strength and some good skill to back it up. And they're trying to say that she is not really there. They're saying that she's not good enough, that people are putting her down, and I just don't agree with it. Now, the match was actually pretty good. For me personally, it was good, but it did feel short. With the opening of the show, and then with the video pack, it felt short. Now, of course, that could be because the match was really good, and you want more of it. And I do believe that's one of the major reasons. But I also believe that it was a lot shorter than it should be. It should have been a bit longer. Now, the next match, that really makes no sense for me personally, and I think they could have left this off the show, was Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. Now, understand, I love me Cesaro. Seth, okay. But Cesaro, I truly believe he should have already been given more options. And sorry for the fireworks, they're firing it off right now. Always do it around this time of the hour. It's nearly 12 o'clock and they're firing fireworks off. What do you know? Do I believe the match was bad? No. It was actually pretty aggressive. I didn't mind the match. But the thing is, I just don't understand the feud. From what I remember, Cesaro's already beat Seth twice. And was this about Seth Rollins? Or was this about Cesaro? Honestly, this should have been about Cesaro. Ending the feud with Seth and moving on to something more substantial. But no. This is about Seth Rollins finally getting a win over Cesaro, which now drags on their feud, which honestly I don't agree with. By now, after this, Seth Rollins could be moving on to somebody else, and Cesaro should be moving on to someone else upper. And I know you're going to say, well, the only one that's there is Roman Reigns. Or when it comes to, I do like Apollo and how he's been working, but if you want to do something and make it substantial, you could start getting Cesaro ready for Apollo Crews. That's just me. Let's move on. We got the match that honestly I got actually kind of pissed about. Shayna Baszler versus Alexa Bliss. Let's put this in perspective. She's not Bray Wyatt. She's not Kane. And she's not Undertaker. She's not any one of them. She's not the boogeyman. She's not Papa Shango. But they're trying to portray her in some aspect of all of them. She uses fire. She rises up. She loves pain. She now does mind control. She took over the mind of a Shayna Baszler. That was after she took over the mind of a very weak-minded Nia Jax, who smacks the living spit out of the Reginald like a bitch. And then she mind controls Shayna Baszler enough to get her to break the hold on her. And she wins. Really? I had to look at my notes again just to make sure that I remembered the most important thing. She is not, and man, that's loud. She is not a Taker. She is not a Kane. She is not a Boogeyman. She is not a Papa Shango. And she's not Bray Wyatt. But she's now taken aspects of a Papa Shango who does voodoo. Taken a little bit of the Boogeyman. The only thing she hasn't done is the worms. She hasn't just taken the Undertaker. She's taken Kane's little bit of fire. And now she's acting like a Bray Wyatt. Guys, I have no problem. And just in case you're thinking I'm doing this sexist shit, I'm not. I have no problem of a woman doing an angle. Look at Rosemary. Look at Avalon. Those are very unique characters. Of course, Avalon is very new to business, and her gimmick is still very, very newish. And not everyone's going to be interested in zombie stuff, but that's all right. Rosemary is highly established. Very well built. Very well done. You could see her, and you can understand her. Su Yung, highly developed. I love me Su Yung, particularly that she's gone through different phases. But when you look at Alexa Bliss, and she did a great job when there was no Bray Wyatt. But let's be honest here. They decided to abandon Bray Wyatt again. And now gave not just his gimmick. She's gained Papa Shango's gimmick of voodoo. She's gained the fire aspect of Kane. And now she does some aspects of The Undertaker. I'm sorry. She is not the next coming of The Undertaker, Papa Shango, Kane. She's just not. She can't even do the Boogeyman thing because she hasn't done worms yet. And if I'm right, they probably will try and do worms with her eventually, or fake worms. I think that's what's going to be next. I just don't agree with this. She should have been working with Bray Wyatt. They should have dropped Bray Wyatt and screwed the pooch on him. Because that's what this is all about. They screwed him up, and then they decided, well, since Alexa's doing so well, let's just drop his ass and let her have the entire gimmick. Because she is acting like Bray Wyatt. Flat out, that's not fair. I'm sorry. And understand, I'm not against her. She done a great job on her own while Bray Wyatt was not on TV. But now they've gone way so far with it that I don't care. Because it's obvious they fucked over Bray Wyatt. And they gave Alexa Bliss his gimmick. And they're going to keep pushing her until one day they'll finally get tired of her. I'm just saying. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And this is about the conspiracy. This is about trying to get back the IC title. And this is about the Commander Azim giving the into the throat of a Kevin Owens. It's a lot going on, but that's the gist of it. Was this a rough match? Yes, it was. Beat the hell out of each other. But in the end, Kevin Owens didn't win. He got his butt kicked, and he lost to Sami Zayn. Here's the thing. I've never been 100% against the conspiracy story of Sami Zayn, but let's be honest here. It's pretty much run its course. And I'm not saying that Sami should turn face. But they need to go in a different angle with Sami. And when it comes to Kevin, he's still pretty good as a face right now. I'm sure when he goes in front of fans, he'll still get a lot of pops and sympathy. But when it comes to Sami Zayn, there needs to be something new. I'm just saying. The match that I didn't care about, felt that was lopsided, sloppy to a certain extent, had the right ending, but when it really boiled down to it, guys, think of this carefully. What it really boils down to is a lack of creative direction for the women. Because they got enough women on the roster of Raw, almost, to do something. But no. They could have done something more with the women before they were thrown off of Raw. In other words, released. And whatever women they have left, that's in catering. This is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's title. Now, let me try and break this down to you, because it's got to be done right. Was the match quality great? No. Was the match quality a classic? No. What is it? Okay. Yes. On Rhea Ripley's part. Because when you look at how Charlotte was working that match, and look, I don't think Charlotte is a bad wrestler. She's an okay to good wrestler. I know that people will praise everything that she's done, but let's make this very clear. And if you heard the commentators, they kept trying to put her over as the queen. That she's a veteran. Are you serious? I don't even remember how many title reigns. She has 11 or 12, I think 13 to 12 title reigns within 5 to 6 years. That does not mean you are a veteran. No, she's not. That's bullshit. Charlotte can get herself over in a match wrestling somebody. But the major issue she has, that is the major flaw of her entire style, that she can never, and I repeat again, never compare to her father. Her father always, no matter if it was a jobber or the top tier wrestler of the company that he worked in, he could always make himself look good and the person that he's working with as good or better, counting on the story, if there was one. She can't do it. She's never has been able to put herself over and the person she's with. That always is the reverse. The person that she's with, if it's a good quality or top quality, can always put themselves over, and then her. It's never been the reverse. And on top of that, tell me something, guys. Does Charlotte look strange? I don't know if I got a picture of her right before the match. I'll put it in my face. Look at her. Look at how her facial features are. It's not just the makeup. That girl has plastic surgery done. She's no longer the Charlotte that was from NXT. That girl has become plastic. Just like when it comes to Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose. She has now become as plastic as them. Next to her tits looking plastic, which we all know they are. She's now, it looks like she's done surgery to herself because she doesn't look right. Plastic surgery works, true, but it only works with people that really need it. Charlotte didn't need it, not because she was a beautiful woman, it's because the way she looks. You start doing alterations, will look strange on her, particularly when she puts makeup on. So when I look at Charlotte, I look at a woman who's got plastic tits and a reconstructed face to a certain extent that makes her look awkward. And I'm not even against Charlotte. I'm not. In real life, the woman is probably the most sweetest person on the planet until she gets into the business and she'll be as cutthroat as her dad. But she doesn't look right. She looks off. And when it comes to the match, the wrestling style she had did not help Rhea Ripley. It put her over to a certain extent, particularly when she did Andrade's moonsault backflip. So she does one moonsault, lands on the feet, and then tries to do a backflip on top of that, and it was only partially successful. I won't say it wasn't completely successful. It was partially, because she landed her chest straight into Ripley's face. She was supposed to land on her chest. And what did she do? She flipped, landed on her feet, flipped again, smacked her dead in the face with her titties. I don't know about you. I'm sure most men would love it, but that's if they're not moving so fast that those boobs are going to really hurt them. I think she might even got a little stunned from the hit, because that is a lot to take. You don't get hit in the chest to chest. You get hit in the chest with your face. Seeing Rhea Ripley retain is fine, but here's the problem. What now? That's what this entire show is going to be to me. What now? Because you now have Rhea Ripley retaining, and that Charlotte was trying to say, you know what? You need to learn a lesson or two, girl. I'm going to teach you when I take your damn title. And at the end of it, she said, oh, you learned something, bitch. You're learning, bitch. Actually, that's what she said. You're learning, bitch. And pretty much Rhea said, if you were in my place, you'd do the same damn thing. That means one thing. Charlotte's not done. She will not be done with this. And that's the problem. Charlotte is never going to be done with Rhea Ripley. But then Rhea Ripley, what is she doing? Nothing. Asuka is doing nothing. Dana Brooke is doing nothing. Mandy Rose is doing nothing. The only person that's doing something is Alexa Bliss. What is that telling you? I'm just saying. Let's move on. Final match of the night. Bobby Lashley versus I think I botched this because of several things. One, I got actually stuff on my mind. Two, you only got two bulls to be working with. You got Bobby Lashley and you got Drew McIntyre. Everyone else below them means nothing. You know why? Because creative and Bruce Pritchard and Vince and Kevin Dunn have made it nothing. Where are the other contenders? Where are the other contenders? There are none. There are no other contenders for the Raw title. What, you're going to do Sheamus again? No, Sheamus is busy. You're going to do Riddle? Are you going to do Randy Orton? You're going to do New Day? Kofi Mania is going to be running wild? No. That already happened. Kofi got his win, but barely. And I know they're not going to go there with him again. So when you look at this match, and it wasn't a bad match. I enjoyed the match, just like when it came to Bayley and Bianca. The same thing here. But I felt that this had way more time than Bianca and Bayley, and I don't feel very comfortable about that. They should have had more time. That means when it came to Cesaro and Seth Rollins, they shouldn't have been there. That could have been given to them. You could have had two good matches with good amount of length. But the first one was shorter, and this one was very lengthy. And here's the key of it. You got the ref getting knocked out because of a chair to the face because Drew was trying to attack Lashley with it. He got knocked into the ref with that chair. The door was open because Drew demanded another ref to come in. And guess who came in with him? And you see the picture of him eventually at near the end of the match. MVP holding onto the leg of a Drew McIntyre, and Drew loses. Now supposedly, and this is the thing that's going to be questionable, Drew is now barred permanently from trying to get another shot at the title as long as Lashley holds it. Does that mean that's going to happen? No. I don't believe so. You know why? We don't have Brock Lesnar there. We don't have a John Cena there. We don't. We have no one else on the roster that can go up against Lashley right now other than Drew. unless you're going to leave Lashley off TV, sooner or later Drew is going to come after Lashley again. Not because he's going to be able to get the title, but because he's just going to be his rival. Because he has nothing else to do. It's not like they're going to throw Sheamus at Bobby Lashley. I'd be surprised if they did. Because there's no one left. What's next? Nothing. Now, I've heard the rumors that once they go on the road, they're going to go in a completely different direction. Bullshit. You know why? It's simple. If anyone thinks that WWE is going to go in a new direction just because they're going back on the road, you got another thing coming. You know why? It's simple. They should have already started the direction before they left the Thunderdome. Now, that's what it comes down to, guys. If anyone says they're going in another direction afterward, just wait. Wrong. You start the new direction before you go on tour. Before you start going to those venues you normally would go to. You know why? Because then the setup going into those new venues will work better. Because you will already show the people. Remember, fans are hungry and angry. They are. The fans are angry because of all the bad booking for the last year and well before then. It's the reason why viewership has not been great. It's the reason why ticket sales have not been great. Booking has been specifically bad. And you should have started 3 to 4 months ahead of time with this new direction, so when you finally go on tour, you'll let people see that the new direction is actually there. Because when you finally have fans in the arenas, no matter if it's at half capacity, a quarter capacity, or what the WWE wants, full capacity of 10, 20, or 30,000 people counting on the arena or venue, they're going to have people that are going to actually cheer. They won't need to do so much piping in of heat and pop, unless they're going to keep doing it, because clearly, from what I've heard, ticket sales are not here. They're here. They're here. Nobody wants to go to the shows, not just because COVID is still going on, even though a lot of states are not opening up. It's because of the booking. They're being held up because of corporations and networks and czars from the Middle East. We're the real fans. Yes, casual fans will look at anything. That's what generally people know. But there's a point when the casual fan is not enough and the hardcore fans are going to be needed to come into arenas to make the shows mean something. Remember what happened before. Remember, before the pandemic, most arenas were already half capacity or near half. They were either at 70 or 60% capacity. You know why? Because the product sucked. Remember, they were tarping off different sections of the arenas or venues they were going to because people were not going because the product was bad. So if you actually think that they're going to do a new direction, it's not going to happen because they should have already done the direction 3 or 4 months ago. They should have had the direction already plotted out and planned, so when they finally start going to new venues, people will see, hey, they actually have improved the product. I want to go. Doing it now while you're in the Thunderdome would have been better than doing it while you're touring. Because in the end, no one's going to care. What now? That's what this title is. And I think I've used this before with WWE. And I'm going to keep using it. You know why? Because it makes no sense. They've really not done anything. Yes, they had great matches for Hell in a Cell. Some of them really great, some of them good. Some of them really didn't make any sense why they were on there. They should have been put on Raw or SmackDown. But in the end, it wasn't 100% a bad pay-per-view. It wasn't great. But what now? You should have started your new direction before going on tour. Now, it's not going to save you. And I hope you enjoyed this Hell in a Cell 2021. Please give me a comment below and maybe a like or two. And I will have my next Gump Report up. In fact, the Gump Report that's going to be up is going to be about Mick Foley. Not at the Broken Skull podcast. It was for his biography. Every time when something new comes up, I have to push a couple of episodes back. So you will be seeing this either tomorrow or Tuesday. Peace.